Everyone, welcome to AWS series. In this episode, we are going to talk about AWS SQS, also known as Simple Queue Service. This is a service which offers you to build highly scalable application in a decoupled and distributed system fashion. So AWS SQS offers two different type of queuing mechanism. One is the standard queues, and then you have the first in first out queue. Standard queues basically offers maximum throughput, which, or in other way, it is a unlimited throughput. So what it does basically, when you create a queue, you send the messages to the queue. Behind the scene, your messages are distributed across multiple availability zones. So single message gets 3 different or 4 different copies of the messages across the availability zone. This ensures the high availability of the message. So in case if one availability goes down, if still you would be able to process the message from the other availability zone. As the messages are going to be remained across multiple availability zone, it does not mean that messages can be to process multiple time or same message can be processed multiple time. That is what the guarantee of your message delivery is been offered with this standard queue, which means that one message can only be processed at once. It is highly scalable, wherein if you need to perform a task for a scaling based application solution, then you should be using this kind of a queue. Whereas in the first in first out queue ensures that messages are exactly processed once, and it's in the order in which the messages are placed in the queue, which means that whichever message is placed first, that message will be processed first, and the subsequent message will follow the message which is currently processing right now. Right? That's the first in first out delivery mechanism of the SQS. With SQS, you have various different configuration parameters available. The parameters such as visibility timeout. Visibility timeout basically prevents the consumer from processing a message for a specific duration. Why do we need that? Let's say a message is there in the queue, and then that message is basically by a service to process the message. While that particular message is getting processed, the message gets locked by the SQS, so that it prevents the other services or the other instance of your applications not to pick up that particular message. So that is what the visibility timeout. So let's say if the visibility timeout is set up to 30 seconds, which means that for a 30 second of duration, it will be locked for the current processor. And if the timeout is exceeded more than 30 seconds, then the message will be available for the subsequent process to or subsequent services to process. Next, you have the retention period. In the retention period, basically it allows you to persist the message in a queue for a specified duration of the time. In this case, it is mentioned as 14 days for an example, and the default setting of this particular configuration is 4 days. Long pooling. Long pooling basically reduces the empty response by waiting for a message to arrive in the queue. What do I mean by that? Is, let's say if you would like to send message one by other, and you are sending too many messages to the queue, but you may want to apply a wait time for your subsequent message. Let's say message 1 arrives in the queue, and the subsequent message should wait for 2 seconds before it arrives or visible in the queue for process. So that kind of a wait period you can set up in the queue using the long pooling configuration. Next, you have the dead letter configuration. So dead letter offers you to ensure that you are able to process the message which are getting failed to process, or this is for debugging purpose. So what happens in this case with SQS, in the dead letter configuration, it creates a dead letter queue when the message processing is failed, that failed message basically sent to the dead letter queue, and then you as a developer can process that particular failed message or debug that particular failed message to ensure that what could be the challenges or the failed reason for that particular message. We'll take a look at these configurations when we try and set up the queue in our AWS console. What are the use cases of the SQS? So like I said, SQS use cases are the decoupling of the microservices, wherein you can eliminate the synchronous dependency between the services, and For an example, a web tier can have offload the heavy processing task to the background worker tier via the SQS, ensuring that the front end remains responsive. For an use case, for an example, you have the order fulfillment system wherein you are sending the orders, multiple order, or the customers are sending a lot of orders. So those order processes are getting sent to the SQS queues, and then you have the order processing system or processing microservice, which is going to process those orders in the background without affecting the web application UI. All right, let's look at how to set up the SQS in the AWS console. So to set up the SQS or queue, you can simply search for SQS in the search panel, open the SQS service, and here you should be able to find all your queues which are already configured. And if you would like to create a new queue, you can click here to create a queue. If there are no queues available, then possibly it might possible that you may be landed here in this particular dashboard UI, and from here you can simply create a queue. Just click on create queue. Here you need to define or choose what type of queue you may want to have for your queue, standard like we discussed, or first in first out. So I'm going to keep the standard as is. So let's select the demo queue. That's the name of the queue you need to define. Then the next configuration you need to specify the visibility timeout is the timeout which you would like to allow your processor to process this message which is going to arrive in this particular queue. Then you have a delivery delay time, which means that how much time it needs to have to arrive or visible message in the queue before the message visible in the queue. So that's the time you can set up. The max time you can apply between 0 to 15 minutes. That's the maximum time. Whereas the visibility timeout you can set between the 0 seconds to 12 hours. Here in the next configuration, which is a receive message wait time, it is a configuration which allows you to wait for the maximum amount of time pooling before the message comes available to receive. Next, SQS has the default encryption available, which ensures that the data at rest is encrypted and also enables the server-side encryption. So by default it is enabled, but at the same time you can enable your own custom encryption by selecting to this particular option, and you can specify your customer managed key to enable the encryption for your queues. And keep the default option enabled for this. Next, you have the access policy, which you can control the identity and access management with this particular queue using this policy configuration. For now, we are going to keep the default setting available, which says that all actions are allowed in this queue which we are creating, and it is allowed by the owner, which in this case I am the owner, and this is going to be applicable on the AWS account where we are in right now. All right, with this particular configuration, we should be able to create a queue. We have talked about the dead letter queue. So at the moment, we do not need a requirement for dead letter queue. So this option is disabled. But in case if you would like to have a dead letter queue option enabled for debugging, ensure that you enable this radio button option. Just click on create queue and you should be able to create a queue. So this is the queue which is got created right now, which has got this particular tabs. So if I simply go to the queues, here you can find all the listed queue which we have created. Click on the queue, and here we have the policy. You can edit the policy by clicking on the edit option. You can monitor the queue configuration or the whatever activities getting performed. So all the CloudWatch monitoring is available here. Then you have the subscription to your queue, which is a simple notification service subscription, which we'll look at in our next video. But this is the notification. Basically, if you want your messages which are arriving to this particular queue, you want these messages to be subscribed by the different subscribers. So that subscription or subscriber you can set up with the help of simple notification service, and you can enable those subscribers by clicking here. We'll look at the demonstration when we talk about the simple notification service in our next video. For now, I'm going to keep it as is. Next, you can also set up a trigger as a Lambda function. So if you have a Lambda function which is listening to these queue messages, then this is what you can attach here you can attach the Lambda function to this queue, saying that whenever a message arrives to this queue, the Lambda function will automatically trigger and it will process that particular message. Or ever want to configure the dead letter queue, you can simply click on edit option and configure the dead letter queue. Simply, if you would like to change the encryption configuration from the default encryption to your custom managed encryption, you can always change the configuration right here from this section. Now let's talk about sending the message to the queue. I can click here on send and receive message option, and that will allow me to send any message. I can send a text message, I can send a JSON type of message, or any configuration, any object. I can right here send it to from this particular message, send a message option. This is the message body. I need to send hello from queue. That's the message I would like to say. The message group ID, if you would like to group the message by a particular group ID, you can apply the group ID. Otherwise, whenever you send a message will always get a new message ID, unique identifier, which is a GUID, and the message will be having its unique identifier. You can simply click on send message, and then the message will be available. As we can see that the message count has increased from 0 to 1. The polling is by default is set to 30 minutes, and the maximum message count right now is 10 message. I can always click on this poll message, and that will poll the message which is available in this particular key. As you can see that this is a message which has been pulled right now, and if I click here, I should be able to see the message which we have sent. I'm going to give you one more demonstration about the JSON kind of a message. So let me just send a JSON message. Just click on apply this JSON message body. So I've just pasted this JSON message body, and then I'm going to send it. The message is sent. As you can see that I have got now the second message, and if I simply click on this whole message, then this is the message I have it right now. Now let's look at how to plug in this particular message or SQS with the Lambda function. To plug in this with Lambda function, you can simply click on configure Lambda function. Select the Lambda function if you have it already. At the moment, we don't have any Lambda function, so I'm going to open the Lambda function dashboard, and from here I'm going to create a new Lambda function. Select from a blueprint. Here I'm going to use the SQS, search from SQS, give it a name as the demo function. I'm going to simply keep the rest of the settings as is. Select the queue name, which is demo queue in this case. Click on create function. So this will have an event from our queue. Our new function will have an event from this queue. So whenever a message arrives to queue, this function will automatically trigger. Okay, so this message is successfully configured. So now if I go to the Lambda function triggers, I should be able to see the triggers in the SQS. And whenever we are going to now send the message, the Lambda function will trigger and it will process the message. So that's option number 1. In our next video, I'm going to talk about the SNS subscription and how do we enable the SNS subscriptions with the queue. For now, let's look at our next topic is about the pricing. So pricing for the free tier, which I'm into right now, for the standard queue, we can send 1 million requests, which means that I can send 1 million request messages to the queue without any cost. Similarly, for FIFO, we should be able to send the same amount of message. And for the next 1 or 100 billion, it will be charged $0.40 per million requests, which is very cheap if you are dealing with this size of data. Now the data transfer out varies by the region. So region we are in right now, it depends, and the data charges is going to be applicable according to that. Similarly, the API actions like send message, receive message, and the other messages are going to have the associated cost. That is it in this particular demonstration. I hope you have found some idea about the SQS and you would be able to use it in your application, or if you're using it already, you understand how it is being used now. Thanks for watching it. See you in the next video.